Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are today. I'm Jennifer Bagley, and you are attending the 12-Step Roadmap to Accelerated Results training program. You guys, I really appreciate your time with me today. I know that you have other places that you could be, and the fact that you're taking your time to spend it with me today, I do not take it lightly. This is Step 3, Session 2. We're still talking about websites. For those of you that were on the call last week, we were talking about really the different types of websites, different types of content management systems, different types of platforms to build a website, kind of do's and don'ts. I think we covered, not doing your website with one of the triple F's, friends, family, and fools. And we also covered a few of the more technical details as far as websites being built properly, not in tables, not in Flash, making sure we use divs and so forth. So I've got a lot of feedback since the last class. Some of it, I understand the feeling of overwhelm. I definitely do. And some of it, people were really, really excited, overly excited to get their projects moving. Some of you are in the pipeline still. And I'm hoping that this helps you in some way, shape, or form. And just think about, a lot of the information that I'm going over, it's not that everything has to register right now and that you've got to become a web expert by any means. The goal is that over time, each piece of information starts connecting another circle. If you can imagine looking at a whiteboard with 300 little circles all over it, the goal is we want to create one circle. And so as you gain additional information, additional knowledge, you're able to see different things that allow you to start connecting those circles. Over time, you're going to continue to build a broader knowledge. Now, that knowledge base is not only going to assist you in your daily activity and your routine as it relates to marketing and leveraging digital assets, but in addition to that, it's going to help you ask better questions, and it's going to help you better be prepared for making decisions as it relates to technology. So, again, this is typically one of the most critical elements of a business is their digital marketing presence, which is their representation or your representation of your business, your products, your services, your team, your staff, your mission, your values, your purpose to the world. And so I want to be able to help you really, really be able to leverage the technology, ensure you've got a comprehensive strategy, and let's do the right things in the right order at the right time. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming because it feels like you need to do everything right now. If you have a pen and paper, write this down. Production before perfection. One of the reasons I'm very successful in the digital marketing realm is because I make things happen. It's not always perfect the first time, but I'm constantly executing, refining, constantly executing, evaluating, refining, executing, evaluating, and refining. And that's really what everybody's going to have to do in order to start gaining some results. Analysis by paralysis, absolutely, or paralysis by analysis can absolutely happen in the web world because we're so focused on every single detail, when really we just need to get the fundamentals, the elements down, the basics. We need to start implementing something new. I'll give you another example of that. In an SEO environment or search engine optimization, which we have not done the SEO classes yet, but when we get to that section, we're going to be talking about how do you take your time, focus it in one area of the business, leverage that one area faster so that you can convert that into new cash that you can reinvest in other areas of the business. Marketing, your website, blogging, content, social media, SEO, it all has the exact same process. If you identify one thing you want to do extremely well, put all your resources into that one area, then you're going to be able to turn that time into cash. The faster you turn that time into cash, the quicker you can reinvest it into another area. I gave you the example, or I was starting to give you the example of search engine optimization. I'll give you kind of an overview. I want you to think about it like this. If you have 10 trees and 1 bucket of water, and you were to take that 1 bucket of water and try and spread it across 10 trees, this can be 10 different products and services, 10 different SEO key phrases, maybe 10 different businesses if you're a solopreneur trying to find your way. But the wider the base is that you're trying to spread your resources, the more diluted your efforts, therefore, the longer it takes you to see results. So we're going to get real clear in today's training so that we can focus and we are going to focus so that we can execute. For those of you that know, Tony Jerry is a client of mine and a coach. He's a coach to the top 500 CEOs in the world, also high achievers, and he has a program called Strategic Acceleration, or a methodology, should I say. And this methodology is all about gaining clarity so you can focus, focusing so you can execute, and executing consistently so you can win. And that's what we're going to go through today. All right, again, we're on websites. Today, we're going to be talking about the guts of a website. And if you're having one built, we're also going to be talking about do's and don'ts, and I'll give you my recommendations as far as how to get that thing through the pipeline sooner than later. So last week, one of the things we talked about was websites are built in layers. At least if it's done properly, it should be built in layers. So an initial layer is a PSD file or a Photoshop file that creates a pretty design. I want to give you an example. For example, I'm going to take Saggy Cleef. This is a PSD file. Notice these are not clickable links. This is simply one giant picture. Building a wireframe or a Photoshop design gives a development team a structure. So you have lots of ways to design. Some individuals go to a website and they pick out a template. Some go to a website and they pick out a theme. So I'm going to cover that. Templates, you need to avoid them. I'm not going to go into too much because we covered it last week. Themes, while picking a theme in a WordPress environment is absolutely doable, and themes have a brain and they're smart and they have a lot of different functionality that is going to make it easier for someone that's not necessarily a developer to be able to leverage a theme to make a pretty website. The problem is that themes are made from programmers from around the world, and themes often have poor coding. They often have little gifts, I'm going to say, that a developer likes to leave inside a theme that benefits them but not you. More on the virus side, or holes and hackers and so forth. And then themes also, the problem is that with a theme or installing a theme, if you go to WordPress, themefortress.net and whatnot, and you're looking for themes, one of the other challenges with them is they may work great right now, but 2 and 3 years from now, they start falling apart simply because the developer is working on new technology. For example, developers that were building themes 3 years ago were building flat themes that were non-responsive. They had 1 or 2 sets of style sheets, or CSS sheets, which is cascading style sheets. That's what kind of all the styling for your site is based on. And now we're in a world where every theme is being built in a responsive theme with many style sheets so that your website can shapeshift itself on any kind of a mobile device or tablet or any other size device. So the problem with that is, if you had a website built in WordPress on a theme 2, 3, or 4 years ago, you're probably operating on a theme that not only is not responsive, but in addition to that, it is also no longer supported by the initial developer. So those don't work well. So for us, we build our own themes so that we don't have to use a third-party developer's theme. We stay in the core framework of WordPress. Now, inside a design or a PSD file, the important thing is making sure that when you're working with the design team, you want 100% of the things on this design to be exactly what you want. Because once this PSD design is complete, they have to take this PSD file and code thousands, if not tens of thousands of lines of code to make a website, or the core framework of a website. And this is a MySQL database, HTML code, theme configuration, all of your widgets and so forth, blocks, and it has to make it look like this design. The worst thing you can do to a website project, well, I'm going to say 2 of the worst things you could do to a website project. Number 1 is agreeing on a design, or what the framework of the design is going to look like, getting into develop, and then making design changes. That will absolutely put your website far past its production schedule, and that can be painful from a time standpoint, getting your website done. The second biggest thing you can do wrong in a web project is continue to submit bits and pieces of content or bits and pieces of changes. The more coordinated and complete or comprehensive you can be in your submissions, the faster your project is going to go. But if you're putting in one change and then another change and then another piece of content and then another piece of content and so forth, that's going to make your project stretch out to months and months and months instead of having a project done in maybe 60 days. So those are things to consider as you're going through the process. The more organized you are up front, the shorter the window it's going to be to get your website done. The less organized or more disorganized you are, or if you have 2 and 3 people all putting in different ideas, different change requests, sometimes that can be a lot of rework. One person says, I want it all done this way. Another person comes in and says, but change this and change this and change this. The other person comes in and says, change it back. Now you have a website that's going to take 6 months or a year to get done instead of a couple months. Again, so just things, again, to consider. Now, let's talk about the interior elements of a website. Most of the time when I'm looking at sites, number one, they don't look professionally done, and that's going to be a problem if you're trying to take your business to the next level. And you know if your website looks like you did it, or you hired your cousin or your nephew or your niece to do it. So, you know, I don't have to tell you that. And please trust everything I am telling you not to do, I have done. I have been, 10 years ago, I was an executive for a corporation. I made well over 6 figures a year, and I quit my job, and I was a single mom of a little guy who was 4 years old, Terrell, at that time. And please trust, again, everything I'm telling you not to do, I have absolutely done. Everything that I am coaching you on is because I had the most incredible coaches in my back pocket that I wish I would have had from day one. I wish I wouldn't have had, I will say this, when I came out of corporate America, I was doing very, very well for a 27, 28-year-old. Very, very well, I'll put it that way. And I had enough of a 20-something attitude that I knew exactly what to do, and there's no way this entrepreneurial thing or this small business thing had anything on what I had done previously in my past. And so I was slightly arrogant, was not as open to coaching or listening, and it took me at least 3 years, I would say, to literally change who I am, how I think, and create a permission-based environment where I was seeking counsel, seeking a coach, someone who had been where I want to go and further. And I literally buckled down, stopped bucking the system, and listened and listened. And then it took even longer to not just listen, but actually to listen, make a decision, and implement. Listen, make a decision, and implement. And a lot of that has to do with being able to provide or being able to identify the right coaches and making sure. Many times we are always asking for input and advice from the wrong people. You notice, I'm sure you've had someone in your family that's asked someone else in your family about money who has none. That's what I mean. So it's important, 1, to be able to identify the right coach, 2, to be open, and 3, to be able to make decisions and take risks, which often puts people in a position of feeling uncomfortable. And if I can tell you anything, getting uncomfortable or getting comfortable being uncomfortable is one of the best things you can possibly do. And always looking for the solution, the positive spin on everything. The more you can stay away from negativity, the more positive you can be in everything that you do, the better your results are going to be over time. That being said, let's dive into the elements. So here, all websites are basically broken into blocks. A website is the same framework and shape no matter what. You have 1,000 pixels wide, you have unlimited pixels tall, and those pixels are broken down into header, navigation, slider, sidebar, right sidebar, left sidebar, body, footer, and so forth. Every piece of a website is real estate that you have the ability to leverage. Again, I'm going to say it. Every piece of a website is real estate that you have to leverage. Now, I want everybody to think about the fact that this website is going to be seen by people. People have different personalities. Your prospects' personalities are not identical to yours. So as you go through the process, it's very important to be able to kind of get out of your own way. And I say this kindly, but I'll give you a great example of a great mistake that I made. In the very beginning, I just thought having a black website with this really hot logo, and I'm telling you, I spent a fortune on the logo and the branding. I had a gentleman, James Ford, he was the head of design for Carl Sewell and Lexus. And I mean, he's a brilliant designer. When I had him make this design, I literally thought, this is it. This is it. This is hot. This is so good looking and so forth. And it took my coaches literally sitting down with me and saying, you may think so, and I'm sure you have some friends who said it is as well, but I want you to consider all of these other things. Tony specifically went through, started talking about personality profiles and the types of personality I was dealing with from a marketplace standpoint, and all of a sudden, my own opinion and my own likes and my own interest and my own thoughts became null and void and not important. So I just encourage you to think about the fact that we have many personality profiles that we are trying to target when it comes to properly presenting your website to the world. If you have a pen and paper, again, you're going to want to write these down. There are 3 primaries, and there are 4 technically if you're using the DISC assessment for personality profiling. But let me go through on a website the primary 3 individuals that you need to be concerned about. And each area of the site is designed to be able to speak to that individual, and you need to get the best result for each area of your website with each personality type. Number 1, in the top section of your website, so I'm going to pull up Jennifer Bagley, we'll pull this up. This area, which they call above the fold, is for your instant decision makers. When somebody comes to the site, you need to be able to quickly identify with and make it easy for an instant decision maker to make a decision, which means very clear calls to actions. So for me, my calls to actions are book Jennifer to speak, connect with me or show up, suit up, and participate in my social networks. A giant call now with my phone number prominently placed in the upper right-hand corner of the website, the ability to search the site, and the ability to click the contact information. In addition to that, we slide down and we move into registering for a webinar series, which is what I really want people to do. One of the 2 things, either book me to speak or register for the webinar series. I'm going to go over a couple other designs so you can get an idea. So let's go over the site we're building for DFW security. Again, instant decision makers, call us, giant phone number. Even better, we'll call you, make it simple for the individuals to be able to get in touch with you. Very quickly drive them into home security, video monitoring, energy management, home automation. They're able to make a decision very quickly. What am I interested in? This is another example of great calls to actions in the above the fold. Same thing we went through. Call us, client login, social media sites, contact us now, and sign up for a newsletter above the fold. Let's go to Dirks. Let's go pull up, by the way, this is Dirks Heating and Cooling's old site. So earlier I talked about when you can tell if you built the site yourself or someone who probably shouldn't have been building websites did. And please trust, again, I'm not saying this to be condescending. I am saying this because I absolutely built all my own websites in the beginning and absolutely finally had people to be honest with me and tell me I shouldn't have done that. All right, so let's go through and look at Dirks. Now, instantly, phone number, call, we know exactly where we're at. So somebody that's coming to the website is not confused on, do they service my area? If you have a business that's specific to an area, if you're a local business owner and you're looking for local traffic, then it's very important as quickly as possible to let people know they're at the right place and that you can assist them. Also, we have trust building factors in the accrediteds and the BBB. Get a friendly estimate. We have a phone number. We have an email address. We have a contact us. We have a get contact us. Next, we drive them straight into heating, air conditioning, ductless, geothermal, and air quality. Get a free quote. What our clients say. Again, we're driving them into quick topics. So now we're starting to get more into the more analytical individuals. Okay. We're going to go back. Let's pick another. How about ProDental. So ProDental is Dr. Jason Rowe. This is one of 2 sites that we're building for him. This is in development. So we have follow us on social media sites, contact us, phone number, instantly an address, and then their rotator will go through and drive people to either schedule a visit, meet our doctor, or check out before and after pictures, which is one of the biggest things people do when it comes to dental. So just kind of want to give you guys an idea. Same thing with Saggy Cleef. We have contact us, events, his blog, his assessments are his 3 most important. We're going to put them over to the right-hand side, drive them in, contact us. We have steps, the process, nutrition, get specific, actions, get results. Very clearly, we're telling people what to do when they get to the site. So if you were to think about your business, if you're in the process of getting your website built, definitely, you've probably already been through this process with us. If you are looking at doing a redesign or looking at building your very first site, what are the initial calls to actions that are critical to your business? And how clear is it what you do? How clear can you be? Now let's go into the very next section. Let's go into the center or the body of a website. The body of a website is for your next personality type. Write down personality type number 2. This is your analytical thinker. Your analytical thinker or your researcher is typically going to read and click and do research, and they want to drive around, see what you've done, see where you've been, see who has something to say about your business and so forth. They're going to typically scroll through your blog, look in interior pages and so forth. So very important that the center area of your site is always for the researcher. Now, something to know about researchers, they come back. So you always want to make sure that the center area of your site has something new. So this is why when you have a website built properly, you have an integrated blog, integrated videos, integrated events calendar. You've got to make sure that the front of your website has content that is dynamic, because when they come back, we need to re-engage them, re-interest them, and we need to reconnect with them so that they possibly become more interested in your products or your services, your events, yourself, your business, whatever your target is. The final area of a website is going to be broken down into, let me scroll down, so I'll kind of show you the body again. So for DFW security, above the fold, that's for your instant decision makers. The body of the area lets people dive in and be able to get more information, why you'll love us. They can dive into each individual section to go do more research. They have regular videos that are being posted. And then finally, as they finish out their social media sites, that allows people to stick in the social media area. Saggy Cleef, again, the greatest area to leave your third personality type, and I call them a fence sitter. Sometimes they make decisions, sometimes they don't. I tend to see a lot of these individuals as entrepreneurs, especially startups and solo entrepreneurs. But the best thing you can do is leave them in latest news, latest blog posts, let them sign up for a newsletter, or let's drive into the business resource guide. We'll go into the About Us page. This is the best thing you can do for individuals who are not necessarily decision makers, and this also assists with those individuals that are researchers. Drive them into your social media sites, allow them to be in your network, and make sure you're publishing content on a consistent basis that is going to be interesting to them, not just you. So we haven't done the social media section yet, but I'm just going to throw that out there. Make sure your website has an area for all of your fence sitters to go hang out. Hopefully that is Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, a blog, and hopefully you have content that's being posted that is interesting to them, not just to you. I'm going to talk about Ann Powers with Air Care Systems for just a minute. I know she's on here. Ann, I believe when she first had the very first consultation with me, and we started going through her website. This woman is a powerhouse content machine. She is a machine. Unfortunately, her current site is probably not ideal, definitely not worthy of this woman, because she is a content generating machine. But it's incredible to be able to watch. All she needed was a guide for her social media accounts, and I cannot wait to see what happens with her website. But all she needed was a guide with her social media accounts. She's on the training every single week. Let me go air care. Gotta love it. Just that fast. Yes, ma'am. She's on training every week, and I've been watching everything change as far as how she's marketing, and her website hasn't even gone live yet. She's just getting started on her website project, but literally we're talking about a fan page that's went from, I think it was 197 or 97 to over 7,000 likes. She's got content that's been posted on a regular basis that's entertaining and fun and motivating and informational. Sometimes it's about air conditioning. Sometimes it's just simply about more motivational or things that are funny. But literally, she's starting to create a community on a HVAC fan page, which you gotta love that, because that is not normal. And if you don't mind, I'm gonna unmute you. If you have a second to talk about kind of your experience in transition, I would love it. Do I have you, Miss Ann?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Fantastic. I know I didn't tell you that we were going to do this in advance.
Well, that's okay. I'll shoot from the hip.
So I love it. I saw that your website's going into production this week. I'm really excited about that. Talk to me a little bit about your experience from, the first consultation through attending training, what it's done for you, your business. What are you doing different? What are you seeing that's different?
I think we're doing everything different. I'm trying to take my personality, like you said, and my wants and my ideas, which obviously have failed me for 28 years, and go to the experts to let them drive the decision-making process with my input. But it's been exhilarating. Everything that I look at, better save that. That'll work on my website. Whoop, better save that. That's funny for Facebook. Whoop, better keep this. So I'm going to be busy. I'm already busy pulling it together. I'm getting ready to get busier, I'm afraid. Not afraid, but glad to be this kind of busy. And it's been exciting, and all the help that I've had has been just overwhelming. I can pick up the phone, I can Facebook, I can email, and I get an instant response. It's not what I'm used to.
I love it. I love what you're doing. I will absolutely shout out. You show up, participate on a consistent basis, and you are on the fast track to seeing what an accelerated marketing plan does for your business. You really are, and it's. I always say I can take two of the exact same companies, same industry, same product, same services, same pricing, same everything, and they can be spending the same amount of money on marketing with the same amount of resources, have the exact same website, same SEO plan. Everything is identical. But how come one performs up here, one performs down here, and it always boils down to one thing, and that's people. So I just wanted to tell you you're absolutely amazing, and thank you for all of your
Well, thank you. One day I aspire to be Jennifer Bagley, working for Jennifer Bagley.
I totally have a position open.
Traveling with Jennifer Bagley.
I love you.
We'd probably get in trouble, but
I am absolutely looking forward to that, actually. I'm going to have a celebratory trip.
True.
I don't say no to that, right? I'll be in Costa Rica in 2 weeks.
I saw that. And I'll be sitting at my desk gathering stuff. But this is my goal. That's all part of where I'm headed, so.
I love this. Well, let me focus on this, because you're up next from a website standpoint, so let's talk content. Would you be okay with me pulling up your current site?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Everybody should have a good chuckle from time to time.
Okay, so again, I have absolutely done the same thing. Absolutely. So this is, you are a great, great example of holy content. I love that. I love that. I love that. But this is the benefit. So for you, many of the HVAC clients that we do business with are struggling with designing and developing content. For you, you just need to get organized. And that's really going to boil down to creating a sitemap. So inside a website, we've talked about content and the body area. We've talked about all of the different elements. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna come back to elements that fit inside header, nav, sliders, footers, right sidebar, left sidebar, and body. Those are your primary areas within a site. But content, navigation. This is a sample training site that we built for the Mitsubishi HVAC events and all of the HVAC companies. And this is really what to think about when you're putting together your navigation plan. Now, there's a handful of you that I'm seeing on the call that are currently in production or current websites. So I have a little bit of a different approach with people that are in production, going in production, and current clients. And this is why you have to be careful when you're listening to speakers, because they've got to be able to make sure that the message is specific to the audience's needs. So, Anne, you are going into production. So,
yes, ma'am.
For you and anyone else on here that's getting ready to go into production, right now the best thing you can do is to create a sitemap, which is essentially a navigation listing. And literally this is as easy as taking out a piece of paper and creating, you only have, this is your areas from top to bottom. So top level navigation is absolutely a requirement. That is the most standard navigation on all of your major sites. What we want to do is we want to take what everybody does the best and we want to do just that. We don't want to try and break the system or do something different. And then you have a handful of drop downs that can be under each area. So as you're going through your site, it's important to look at what are the pages that have value and what are your junk pages. So a junk page, if you think about somebody going to Google and typing in a word and that word producing a result and you want to fit in that result, let's go through what junk pages are. So a junk page is about us. A junk page can be contact, events, our mission, our values, financing, FAQs. Think about no one goes to Google and types in the word contact or events or FAQs or financing and so forth. So those are all pages that kind of need to be hidden and they're not as important in your primary navigation. However, when you think about the solutions or services that you offer, and if we're going to break them down in, we need to think about from the highest level down to the lowest common denominator of the most important and valued search phrases that somebody's going to use for air conditioning. So if we were to dive into, think about, and I'm kind of tipping on the cusp of SEO, but you can't build a website without considering SEO, so we're going to talk both. In this environment, air conditioning is one phrase. One of the biggest mistakes HVAC, and this should apply to everybody because everybody kind of does this, but one of the biggest mistakes HVAC companies do is they put heating and air conditioning in everything, or HVAC, and it's actually it's an industry where that actually hurts worse than anything, because when it's cold outside and the heater breaks, no one is going in and typing in the word air conditioning or HVAC. That's a technical term that's typically used by people within the industry. What they are worried about is the fact that I'm freezing, my feet are cold, my nose is running, and my heater is broke. So they are only typing in phrases that have to do with heating. And they're either thinking heating installation, heating maintenance, heating system repair, furnaces, boilers, ductless, thermostats broken, zone control systems broken, or they're going into heating questions. Same thing with air conditioning. The primary page is air conditioning, but your secondary pages are air conditioning, and think like a consumer, air conditioning installation, air conditioning maintenance, air conditioning system repair, air conditioning replacement, and so forth. So if you're going into production, the first thing to do is to create this outline of your primary services and the variations of searches that people are going to look for you. That's most important. Then, once you have this list, cut it back by half. So unless you're Ann Powers and you have 75,000 pages of content already written and you can just pick and choose from a barrel of content, most people don't. And so creating a navigation structure that has 60 pages on it or 30 pages on it can be totally overwhelming. And again, it's probably going to put you in a position where you're piecemealing content into a development team, and you definitely do not want to do that. So narrow it back to the basics. You have a plan, so you know where you can go after you get the site up. But if you're sitting in this site, and Ann, I'd love to use you as a just case study beginning to end. Your goal needs to be to get out of this website as fast as possible. Once you're in a WordPress environment, so my site, for example, my site is not ready. But I had a website that I had not touched in 3-4 years that was absolutely horrible. Not only was it not doing me any good in my business, but it was harming me in my business because I was losing referral business. Somebody would refer, somebody would come see me speak, they'd come to the website and something would be broken. The website had a black background. It was ugly, it was horrible, it was old, and we've got to get out of it. So you, as well as we have another one that's starting with you. So I'd love to see Superior Air Systems. This is where they're at now. The goal for these two sites is get out of them as quickly as possible, which means create the plan, you know where you're going to go, cut it back to the bare minimum that you need in order to be able to get this bad boy going. Create only those content pages right then. So sit down, if it takes a Saturday, a Sunday, whatever it is, create all 10, all 15, all 20 pages right then. The easiest way to get content for your site, if you're looking for a page for air conditioner installation, air conditioning installation, go to Google, and the top 3 or 4, maybe 5 websites that you see here, go grab bits and pieces from those, drop it into a Word document, and edit it. So use 3 or 4 websites that are on the front page of Google because they're probably doing something right. Notice that we were searching for, again, you know, I love SEO, so I tend to head this way, but my top search phrase is air conditioning installation. Notice Google highlights air conditioning installation, all the places that this is used. HVAC installation, air conditioning installs, air conditioner install, and so forth. That content needs to be on this page over and over again. I'm going to give you a sample. When you go to create this page, let me show you the fastest way to do it. So I'm going to go to the back office of my site, and I'm going to put my key phrase. So we're going to go back over to air conditioning installation. This is the page you need to write out of your list of 15, and you're going to send them all at one time, for example. I'm totally wishful thinking out of this, but I'm going for it. All right, I'm going to go air conditioning installation. Let's fix these so they don't look silly like that. All right, so first thing is you choose your primary key phrase. Drop your primary key phrase under focus key phrases. If, let me say this, if you currently have a WordPress site, this is the fastest way to do this. So I'm doing it inside WordPress instead of in a Word document because we have a lot of current clients that are on the webinar right now, so I want to make sure, and I want you trained properly how to do it going forward. What I don't want to do is have you, after your website goes live, ever write your content in a Word document. You should always start your content directly from your site. So your pens and paper are out. Write this down. 1 page, 1 thought. 1 page, 1 thought. You do not want to have heating and air conditioning, installation, service, repair, maintenance, warranty, FAQs, and so forth on the same page. That would be considered junk drawer. Google can't file that. All right, next thing, we'll give it an SEO title. We're going to drop the same phrase. We're going to drop the same phrase here. Notice inside WordPress, that it's going to tell you you're using this phrase, which this is what it's showing up to on Google right now. Look on here, see how it has a heading, it has your permalink or your navigation, and it has your description. Back to this page, heading, permalink, description. Now, go to the body of the content. You need 300 words per page. Type in those things there. Let me go visual. Next thing to do, as soon as you get done with this heading, bullet point, bullet point. This is the fastest and easiest way to do content. Text. Okay, so now you have air conditioning installation, dash, what to consider. Air conditioning installation, what to avoid. Best. For example, put in a little blurb, put 3 bullet points, you're done. Now, great thing is, this is saved to draft. And here's my ugly little page. I'm looking at in a preview. It should take you. You are an expert in your business. Whatever your products and services are, you know what they should consider, what they should ask, what questions to ask, what to avoid, what to look for, what to be concerned about, and so forth. So, for example, your page title, your text, literally you can grab little pieces of content. This is see, it's benefits of an air conditioner. This is, we're talking about air conditioning maintenance. Benefits of air conditioning maintenance, home AC maintenance, our air conditioning maintenance services. So same thing, drill into system repair, air conditioning tips, identifying the problem, our commitment to you. Air conditioning replacement, and none of this is titled right, but why replace your air conditioner, ACA replace, or air conditioner replacement options, and so forth. So notice this, the context is the same, a heading, a description. The only thing in this one is we don't have bullet points, and of course this is a sample site. So this is talking about air conditioning installation, RAC installation services, our air conditioning products, proper air conditioning sizing, and so forth. So your navigation is critical. As fast as you can, the goal is to get to a top header area, and these are the things you've got to have. You have to have a home page. You've got to have a contact page. You have to have a blog page. So based on this size text, you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more primary areas that you can use. We'll go back to the sample site. We have 1, 2 junk pages. We have 1, 2, 3. This one, see how small this is? This is why this worked. 4, 5, 6. Normally you have 5 interior pages that can stretch across. You want them to be powerhouse pages. Powerhouse. Now, I see a couple of you on the phone, Denise Banks, you're going to only have 4 because you have events in yours. So think of the basics: home, contact, blog, events. So you may only have 4 rows across here that you can leverage your navigation. All right. Now, we've talked a little bit about this. This is creating your content plan is critical. Again, if you're in a position where you're slowly throwing things you literally could have a website that could take a year to get done. So try and be disciplined, be organized from day one. Create all of your content maps, scale it back, create each page, send it to the developer team at the exact same time, and let them build that baby. So you should have, the order is, number 1, when you start a web project, the first thing you're going to do is create the design. Number 2, the designers are going to be working on that. While the designers are working on your design, the next thing you need to be doing is creating your navigation plan, scaling it back, and you can ask for help with that. That's things I can help you with. One of the consultants, your project manager, can help you with prioritizing. They can make every page in your entire website, but you may only go live with 10 of them, 12 of them, 15 of them, whatever that is, that you can get live the fastest. All right? While you're creating your content, hopefully your designers are finalizing final changes. Your design is complete. You now have one giant pretty picture. Again, let's take O'Brien. Here's O'Brien's old site. And we're going to go back. Here is, this is not done yet, but this is where their new site is headed. So this is your pretty picture. This picture needs to be converted into an actual site. So this used to be a picture, and they're going to start putting together the site. When you have a gorgeous picture but you have no content, that means you have an empty website that looks like it's not done, but technically it can be 100% done. So all of these content pages are critical. So I'll give you an example for Dr. Rowe. What was most important for him, he has home, our practice, patients, his services, gallery, and his video library are the most important things he has on his site. So just kind of giving you an idea. Those are where we spent the most amount of time. All right, now elements. Let's go through elements on a web page. Grab a pen and paper, and I'm going to start giving you a sample. I'm going to make you a huge list of elements you can include on a site, and then again, you guys are going to narrow them down. Everything that we're doing when we're talking about the interior elements of a web page, we're talking about how to make the most out of every piece of real estate on the site, because you're going for conversions. A conversion can be getting a friend or a fan or a follower on your social media site, getting a phone call, getting a lead form filled out, getting booked to speak, getting somebody to register for an event, somebody to sign up for a free consultation, a free estimate, a free quote, somebody to download your mobile app, somebody to sign up for a newsletter, and so forth. So I went over them fast. Now let's get a pen and paper and write down these elements. I'm going to show you different samples of them on different websites. And I'm just using sites right out of our production pipeline, because it's the fastest way without me having to prepare a presentation. All right. And it's real. This is all current stuff in the pipeline that we're working on right now. Wayne Nugent is a chief visionary officer for one of the largest network marketing companies called World Ventures. Jeez, I know Wayne very well. World Ventures. Okay, so call to actions. Here's one at the top site. So a countdown. My lady Denise, I see you on here. You have events on a regular basis. There's a handful of you on here that have events on a regular basis. So a countdown clock would be a call to action. That's something that can drive people to pay attention to a specific event. Next, a search. Next, book you to speak. I have a handful of you that are speakers on here or are leveraging speaking. Next, videos. Remember when we were talking in prior trainings, we were talking about there's only 2 permanent assets, actually 3 permanent assets that have compounding results from a marketing standpoint in your business. There's only 3 things you can do that have compounding results, meaning if I put $1 in today or I put an hour in today, that hour today is worth 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000, 100,000 times more a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. The only 2 things you can do is permanent content in the form of a blog post or a page and video. Both have to be properly optimized. If they're properly optimized and repurposed so that the social equity score of those 2 assets is in the right position, then these are the only 2 things that can make you money while you're asleep. Anne was just joking about the fact that I travel a lot. I travel a lot because 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and today I make decisions for my business that create permanent assets so that I don't have to wonder where my business is going to come from, and that work for me while I do other things. In addition, I created a business that's very mobile by nature. However, it's important in your business, depending on what, I'm gonna get personal for a second. For me, my personal goals have always been wealth and freedom. Everybody asks why I do what I do, and I've always said the exact same thing. I want the ability to choose without restriction because I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So, that being said, a couple of the elements inside your site are more important than just an interior page element or a piece of your website. Literally, this is your future. It's your freedom. You have to think of it like that. A mobile app freedom, the power of a mobile app, the power of incredible video that's properly optimized and repurposed, the power of blog content that works for you and gains power over time. I know I'm starting on the marketing thing, but these are so critical, because literally this is what creates your freedom in the business to do other things. Maybe it's open up another business, maybe it's add more products, maybe it's expand, maybe it's to spend more time with your family or more time on the golf course. Whatever it is to you, these certain elements are going to provide you with the ability to do that. So not only should you incorporate them into your overall design, you've got to incorporate them into your life, because the decisions you make now are definitely going to impact where you are a year from now. My guess is the decisions you made last year and the year before got you where you are now. If you want something else, we got to change it. So that being said, back to your list. Video, photo galleries. People love to see themselves. A mobile app. Okay, I'm talking about a tool that works for you while you do something else. If you have your mobile app in every one of your clients' hands, I love how he has that, by the way. I want that. I want that with those four little buttons. Sorry, sidetrack. I just created the mobile app page on Jennifer Bagley, and I don't like it, but I like this, so I want it changed. Okay. We've got a whole series on mobile apps, so I won't go too into it, but it's an element on your site. It's also your digital business card. It's also the fastest and easiest way for your current clients to send you new referrals. Imagine if all of your existing clients and past clients had a mobile app with your contact information in it, and they wanted to send you as a referral to one of their friends. They could pick somebody from their address book, be on their mobile phone, click a button that says send a referral, and they could send your contact information to them, or vice versa. They can send their friend's contact information to you. Now you're in the back pocket, the hand, the meal, the lunchtime, and on the nightstand of everybody's bed across the nation that you care about getting referrals from. So I'll just leave that at that. All right, mobile apps. Books. If you haven't created a book, this is as simple as creating a downloadable ebook. So of course, a book. So you'll notice I am launching, obviously I have a mobile app, I have a video, I have a blog, I have an events calendar, I have a DVD, a CD, a book that I'm launching. I'm actually writing the final pieces of that while we're in Costa Rica. This doesn't have to be a 300-page book or a 200-page book. This can be a 10-page ebook or a 3-page ebook. And if you think about it, and the first thing to your mind right now is, I don't have enough time, I promise you, you are verbally wasting a 10-page ebook every day, all the time, as you are talking and saying the same story continuously to every prospect you run across. So you have a book in you, whether it's 10 pages and it's a downloadable ebook, or it's a full physical book. You can either make money at it, you can give it away, you can get new prospects with it, gain credibility. It can be passed on while you do other things and build business for you. All right, back. Who was I on, Wayne? Okay, so a book. Also, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, your blog, your events. Let me give you, I'll give you an example of an event marketing plan. So an element of a website should absolutely be an event calendar. There are very, very few people who I would say absolutely don't need an event calendar. I got into a great conversation with Blake Crenshaw from We Scan Files, and he was saying, I don't do events. I don't need an event calendar. And I was like, okay, who do you service? Who are your businesses? And he was like, well, you're my client. And he starts rambling off all of these different clients. And I said, would it be beneficial if you had events on your calendar that would benefit those business owners? Let's say one of your clients is providing marketing advice for your ideal client base. Would it be beneficial if you had your customers go to your website to get signed up or registered for a free event that, or a paid event, whatever it is, that they can learn how to better market their business? The goal is to provide value to your customer base in excess of what they demand. So you guys buy a website from us. I don't just want you to buy a website. I want you to buy a website. I want you to connect with on our social sites. I want you to participate in our weekly trainings. I want to, here, let me give you another little giveaway that this is for all of you. We went through in our step 1 training, we went through the social media equation, which gave you a list of different elements you should be posting in social media: inspirational, educational, motivational, entertaining, conversions, real content, and so forth. What I recommend you guys do, leverage this tool. If you download the 12-Step Roadmap mobile app, you have access to all of these directly from your mobile device, or you can go to jenniferbagley.com/quotes. It's right under photos, quotes. We've designed over 200 images that you can use for social media marketing. You guys can use any one. Just hover over it, right-click, save image as. If you want to look at them, you can open them up like this, and you can see, but these quotes are for your use. You don't pay for them. Current client, not a client, don't care, absolutely can use these. You've got to think in your business of what are the things you can give away that are of value, that are going to keep you in front of your clients. I know I have people come into my sites on a regular basis. My quote pages is very, very, very popular. So making sure that people have the ability to come to your site and get something, even if it's not something necessarily that you sell. All right. Event-based marketing is before, during, and after. So it gives you the ability to say, hey, you guys, check out this great training I thought you all might be interested in on blank. Secondly, if you can attend the training, take pictures, you've got a recording of it, you have a digital asset that you can create, that's your permanent fixed asset. And then your after marketing for event-based marketing is taking that content and repurposing and republishing it. So in my instance, you'll notice I have an event that says, today is our 12-step training program. That gets promoted for, a couple days in advance. We digitize this segment, which creates a YouTube video. Let me just switch gears so you can follow the process. This YouTube video, my videographer puts a bumper on it, which is an intro and an exit, just for example. So they may put on an intro so that it's professional, and an exit that has, free consultation, contact us, and so forth. And then we take this video and we repurpose it on sales pages or blog posts and so forth. So event-based marketing gives you the ability to have before, during, and after. So that's why that's such a critical element of a site. Testimonials. So it can be latest testimonials, or you can say something. I think I saw either O'Brien or Dirk said what our customers are saying about us or why our customers love us. I love that. Love that. Quotes, thoughts. So Wayne decided he was going to do the same thing as our quotes version. So just kind of giving you some ideas. O'Brien, same thing. Download our mobile app. Galleries, what our customers are saying. Social media connections, making sure new content is coming out on a regular basis. Dirks, download our mobile app. Featured service areas. So if you have specific areas, making sure you've got one page per area is going to be critical as well. So let me just go through quickly this time elements to consider. First is going to be identifying all your calls to actions. Contact us, get a quote, get an estimate, free consultation, book me to speak, register for an event, sign up. Another set of calls to action are going to be sign up for our email newsletter. And we've got an entire segment on how to do email newsletters. It's not difficult as long as you have a really good template done, so don't worry about that. If you're not sending out a newsletter but you're collecting email addresses, which I would say 99% of you are, that's fine. We can fix that. And just remember this, I always get sidetracked. Somebody said, I don't do a newsletter because I don't like email. And I said, well, do you have people signing up for it? And they were like, yeah. I said, they probably want a newsletter. So just think of it that way. Download your mobile app. Contact us. Video, pictures, Facebook feed, Twitter feed, Twitter feed, YouTube feed, recent blog posts, recent events, what our clients are saying, featured service areas, making sure that you have something that drives into each of your primary service areas as soon as they get to the site so it is clear, clear, clear. And for now, I'm going to say those are the primaries. As you get more complicated, I'm kind of looking who's on the site. Arietta, she probably needs That's a little bit different. You're going to have Arietta Hollins, you're going to have a membership subscription, you've got advertisers, you've got event sponsors, and so forth. So you're going to have a little bit different of a list because you do big events and networking events for professionals. So that's going to be something as well. And you have a website that gives you the ability to promote and market. So that's going to be a little bit different. All right, you guys, I took up too much time last week. I hope this is informational and helpful for each one of you. For those of you that already have sites, you know, just rethinking how frequently are you posting content, maybe doing a redesign on the front end of your website. You don't have to do the whole thing, but maybe you just modify the front page of your site so it's designed for conversions. I do this on a regular basis. Right now we're AvCore, we're redoing the front end of AvCore. WeScan Files is doing a front end redesign. Portable air conditioners, Scott, I saw you on here as well. Scott Burnside, portableairconditioners.com is doing a front end redesign. I love this because these guys have really been successful in leveraging their website, content marketing, blogging, and so forth to be able to build their business, and now they're refocusing their energy on how do we create a design that's going to be better for conversions. And you should be looking at doing this every 12 to 18 months. So with that, I love all of you. Todd, it'd be a great opportunity for you. I hope this is helpful. If you have questions, go to my Facebook wall. You can write what you think of today's session, right smack on the front of my wall, love it, hate it, indifferent, and so forth. And keep giving feedback so we can keep helping provide you different information. Next week, we're still on websites, but we're really going to be tying all of this together and helping with how to manage a site, how to manage your schedule, blogging schedules, and so forth. So this is going to be more the behavior and interaction with the site versus just design and all of the elements. With that, I absolutely adore and love all of you. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week.